have.
Sorry, I forgot to press record. It's
Um,
supposed to record by itself. Anyway, please go ahead.
well, I'm glad I didn't have this memorized. I'd be all over the place. Okay, so the Pluto is 29 degrees of Capricorn, and it's getting ready to make this huge shift. And in astrology, the 29th degree is the most potent degree because there's an urge to go backwards, go back to the old, what we knew as familiar, but there's no choice. We're already going forward. There is an energy that's on the horizon that has to do with more group energy and realizing that we are part of a whole rather than just being part of, our own little mindset. Now, this morning when I got up, I was kind of flipping through some things on the phone, which I often do. And that's not what I'm supposed to do. My agreement with myself is I'm working on, when I get up in the morning, I am making at least one or two things that I want to accomplish that day. And that's because I've been taking a course on recovery when somebody in your family is going through any kind of addictions or dealing with energies, compulsive energies like that. Well, one of the people that I've been working with, her thought is focus on yourself. You have to do yourself. So I'm supposed to get up and think about my goals. So while I'm flipping through the phone, I came across this thing that Laurie Anderson said about this moment in time. And she said there are 3 things that you need to do to be whole and be a part of life. 1, do not be afraid of anyone, which I thought that was really mind-blowing. 2, you always have to have that part of you that can detect whether the person is telling the truth or not. Do not waste your time with people. You can not be afraid of them, but you also might have to call them out or walk away. And her last thing was to be tender, always be tender. And I thought these were really good rules to live by. And the planet Pluto changing signs, like last time it changed a sign, really it started in 2007. We went through this huge financial bust, really. And a lot, the markets changed, many things happened. Well, I'm hoping that this time, November 19th, and I think it's going to take till then to really get the election sorted out. I'm hoping that it has to do with a sense of freedom, that we all feel more like we're living the life that we want to live. Yeah, the planets have not been easy to deal with. And all of us feel it in our own personal way. The other thing that came to me, and then I'll stop right now, is I think the one component that we can bring to help ease the tensions that we might feel, whether it's a social tension, what's happening in the world, what's happening with the elections, should I be doing more? We need to have our emotional intelligence really tuned up. So we know how to read other people, how to know what we're putting out, and be aware of that. So sometimes people are responding to maybe our fears or our doubts, or, why are they acting like that? So I'll leave this for now without going into those are the big things that are happening, really. I mean, we're living at a time with Pluto in the next month and a half, it is changing signs. So usually symbolizes entry into a new time. Thank you very much for having me, Hannah.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you said just made so much sense. And
Oh, good.
um,
Acorn. Don't forget the
the
acorn.
acorns.
Isn't that amazing that she brought me this? She
Yes,
just said, I'm leaving town. I feel I want you to have this. And I thought that's so symbolic. I can hardly move forward. Yeah.
yes. It's such a beautiful reminder that big things start small. And
That they start small. Yeah.
so our what we do every day, which seems kind of small, right? Like we're just one person in so many, among so many, but everything that we do is important
Yes.
because
Mhm.
it all grows and it grows together. And this is the way of evolution, and it's the way of nature, that everything grows, everything changes, and it's the whole impetus of life is constant change. And so, as we know, the oak is an amazingly powerful and beautiful creature, and it comes from this little thing.
Tiny, tiny. And I forgot to say one thing that I really, uh, um, it's a quote from some artist, and I can't remember the artist's name, but it says the muse cannot find you if you're not surrounded by beauty. And I thought, oh, fresh flowers, or do something in your environment that really makes you feel like you have said, I love this place that I'm in, to really a welcoming energy. And that's it.
What was the word? Noose?
No, muse,
Muse.
muse,
Oh,
muse,
muse.
muse.
Oh,
So the
I,
muse,
I
so the
thought,
muse can come down and be with you and help you, um, you know, actualize what is important to you. But, you let them know you're open for that when you have somehow beautified
yes.
your space.
Yes, and what that speaks to also is that what you put out, which is what you surround
Yeah.
yourself with,
Mhm.
is what you attract.
Yes. Yes.
And it's such a powerful statement for that as well. And so we need to be really, really aware of what we put out.
Well, yes, and that's why I thought this Laurie Anderson, the musician, talking today and just saying, don't be afraid of anyone. I mean, you think about people that you might hold in a very dark place inside of you, or, this attitude, how much fear can be inside of any of us, instead of nothing to be afraid of here.
That's it's so true. And we
Mhm.
carry around the bugaboos with us.
Yes. Mhm.
And they're not necessarily there
They're not
other
there,
than
right.
swimming
Mhm.
inside our minds. Yeah, so it's really important to, well, certainly meditation and grounding can help to send those things on their way.
Mhm.
And speaking of grounding, um, I feel that grounding, I've heard the word for many years, and I finally realized that what it really means is getting in touch with the earth. And
Mhm.
so our ancestors and those who live close to the earth, many of them walk barefoot. And
Mhm.
because they walk barefoot, they're in touch with the earth because all of our energies flow down into the earth and the earth sends them back. And that is actually grounding. And that's why one reason that civilization has separated so much from the natural law, because we're not in touch with it. We're walking on shoes and cement, and um, also the earth has so much electrical energy, and when you walk barefoot, you pick up that electricity, and it's very positive. It's very nurturing. So that's one way also to get into what I call um, original mind or aboriginal mind, uh, which is the mind that we're born with. And civilization strips it away from us or separates us from it. And so that is, well, that is something that we need to try to contact, uh, especially when we're walking out in nature. But even if there's no nature around, it is something that we can access if we practice and we're aware. Anyway, is there anyone who would like to comment on anything Lucy said or to ask any questions? Please put it in the chat. You see the chat at the bottom of your screen? Lucy is open for questions if anybody would like to ask. Well, I'd like to know who's going to win the election, but we're not going to go
No,
there.
no, we're not going to go all political. I mean, there's a, I specifically went away from that when I was thinking about the talk, because again, I think it can be polarizing.
Of course it
that's
is.
great.
And I'm just being the devil's advocate here. Eddie, you
Yes,
have a
you are.
question. What is your question?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to share an experience.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just wanted to share it with the group. Something I learned from the person you were talking about. I went on tour with Lori, and I was privileged to go to a number of places with her, including Bali. And when we got to Bali, it was like in the middle of the night. And we checked our gear. They wouldn't let us take it into the country. And the next morning, I woke up and I thought, oh my God, we don't have our camera. What are we going to do? It's hopeless. And she said, well, we were guests of the king. And she said, well, the king has a beta movie, which is like a camcorder. And I learned so much about that because I went from my despair to somebody who wasn't to be, it's not thwarted. It's not really thwarted. It's just working with what is, as opposed to fearing and frustrated and fearing and even anger, like, I'd say, hey, we're the guests of the king, give us our gear. And she's saying, well, the king has a beta movie. So I just
That's
wanted.
a great story, Eddie. It really is about trusting and dealing with what is. You had this mindset on the plane, everywhere you're going, making sure everything, all your gear gets everywhere. Poof, gone. And it's a good way of just saying, well, we're going to do it. It's going to work.
This was a pretty long time ago by today's standards. I mean, this was 90, maybe. But, Lori's somebody who, she's also somebody who is not afraid to test the perimeters of things. And I'd never really worked with anyone like that. I'd come out of a meeting and I'd just go, what the fuck just happened? Because I hadn't worked with somebody who, it's not ambition, it's permission. I mean, maybe it's ambition, who the heck knows? But it's also the first time that somebody called on me. I know I'm going all about me now, but it's also the first time that somebody called me to be an artist. Rather, she didn't say, Eddie, you go be an artist, but I was used to recording information, which maybe has its own virtue, but there was something intangible or elusive that I had to find in myself. Like, well, how am I going to do this? Or like, yeah, well, I learned a lot. There are more stories, but that's the one I'll share. It was a formidable trip. And I did have a question about going into a new season. Now, some of us, the seasons aren't that dramatic, but We're living in a time where I'm living now, it's color, and even in autumn, it's color. And I used to feel a kind of sadness, oh no, winter, no color. And I realized pretty recently, like maybe in the last 4 or 5 years, that there's more light when there's less, when there's fewer leaves, like you see more, a different kind of vision is possible. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. It's not a question, just comments.
Thank
But
you, Eddie.
thank you for,
That
thank
was
you.
that was really beautiful. Thank you very much. We have a couple of other questions. Nina asks, how long is this next Pluto stage going to last? And Marianne says, I think it's a similar question. Does the equinox energy be felt physically? How does the equinox energy be felt physically? I think that's what she meant to say.
Well, the first, and I should have said this earlier, this next phase with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius lasts until January of 2044.
Oh my.
Whoa.
Wow.
So, I like thinking of that as a kind of the age of Aquarius that we all thought, I still hang on to that maybe there will be a time that we can, see each other more clearly and offer and just be our wonderful creative selves without all the angst.
Well said.
Mm.
Beautiful.
And the other question was what?
I think it says, hi, does the equinox energy be felt physically?
Well, if you are somebody who, that was what I was trying to say at the beginning, is if you meditate right at the point of the equinox, which happened early this morning in Mountain Time, like 6:44 a.m., that's where you can pass out of the world of duality. So yes, there should be but you'd have to be, you are a really tuned in being to do that. Most of us go la-di-da and pass the English muffins. That's what we're doing at that time of day. Instead of thinking the energy is really shifting, how I feel it. And, one way we will feel it in a very immediate way, it's going to get cooler and we start wearing more clothes. Our chance to walk barefoot outside goes way down. But I think the energy is, I'm not sensitive enough to feel it, but I've always thought, I hope at some point I can feel that.
That's such a beautiful answer. Thank you. We used to, there was a time we went down to the World Trade Center at the equinox and brought an egg to balance on its end at the equinox. I did that once. It worked.
And it worked.
And it's
Yeah, because now that shows not that you wouldn't have been in this group about the goddess if you didn't know, though there's all these silent energies, but that's proof on a very physical level, right? Where that would not happen at another time.
And I believe as sort of civilized, or I won't call it civilized, I'll call it domesticated people. It's so hard for us to feel the most subtle energies because we're not used to it and we don't know what to look for, but they're there. And so it's nice to be reminded that they are there.
Well, I like that so much, the most subtle energy. I go back to Laurie Anderson saying, don't be afraid of anyone. So if you are open and you really can see that is a person not to be afraid of, you would know that. And, really having your emotional intelligence. So it's not just your idea of what you want to have happen or spitting out your story or something, but really feeling the moment of what you're both sharing. I think it would encourage more trust.
Yes. Okay, are there any more questions or sharings? Okay, so I uh, I would like to do a shamanic journey now to help us in this process of moving forward. And the way the one of the most helpful things that we can do at this moment is in those small things like the acorn, those small things that are actually quite big, which is those things that are holding us back from becoming who we can be, like our greatest selves. And those are either negative feelings or beliefs about ourselves that are holding us back. And so one of the things that I asked for participants to do, and I'd like you all to think about this for a moment, is think of one thing that holds you back from being in your fullest power. And usually it has to do with judgments about ourselves, that we're not worthy, we're not powerful, we're not this, we're not that, whatever it is. But or it can be just a negative feeling. I feel negative about the world and about doing anything about it, which is powerlessness. But take a moment now and think of something that you would like to work with in this journey, that you would like to transform to empower yourselves, because we come here as creators, and the culture strips away our creativity a little bit at a time, or even a lot at a time, through through our experiences and through our traumas. Every trauma strips away some of our power. And so I hope some of you have had a chance to consider this. Let's see. Okay, great. Thank you, Mary. Develop our intuition. Of course, intuition is that sense which belongs really to our spirit. It's not a physical sense, it's a spiritual sense, and it's a sense of reality and what actually is. And it's knowledge. It's the basic knowledge of our souls, really, and to tune into that. Thank you for that, Mary. Okay, so I hope that all of you have some kind of knowledge or experience with shamanic journeying. If not, I will quickly try to speed you up into that. So shamanism is a worldwide, well, it's not a religion. It's a mode of accessing that spiritual part of ourselves, which is in tune with the cosmos and with what is going on all around us, and is part of us, even though we are often not attuned to it. But shamans are the people who are so sensitive to the other dimensions that are available to us. All the dimensions are available to us, but we need to work at it and try to access them, to make it easier to access them. And so the shamans use the fourth and fifth dimension to reach the imaginal realm, which is where everything is created. Your imagination is where you create. You can't create anything if you don't imagine it first. And so that is the realm that we visit when we do this, because everything is possible there. And what we do is we use a drum, which the natives call a horse. And I don't know if you can hear the drum, but it helps to propel us into that other dimension. And so the horse will take us there. And what we do is we breathe together, and I will lead you on that journey by speaking, and then I will give you some time without speaking in which your own imagination can create something, which is whatever our intention for today is. And the intention that I have made for today is to take something that we wish to transform, something that holds us back from becoming fully who we are, and transforming it into something, into a more powerful form that we can use. And so we begin the journey with the drum, and I ask you to go to a place in nature where you can go down into the earth, because that is the womb, the original womb that we come from, where we can transform some of our energies that we are trying to transform. And it could be the hollow of a tree, it could be a rabbit hole, a cave, a body of water. And so I'd like you to either create one or think of one that you already know. That's an actual entry into the earth. So we will enter the earth and go down a long hole or a long tunnel into the earth. And this is all in our imagination, of course, where we will meet helping spirits. So the next part of what you need to bring to this is, who are your helping spirits? Very, very easy ones to access are animals, because most of us relate to animals. It can be a favorite animal, or it can be a made-up animal. It could be a plant, actually. It could be a tree. It could be a mineral. It could be anything at all. But anything that you relate to that is a guide for you. So you call on any of your guides. So they could be from any of the realms, and also from your oh, what is that blue screen? Anyway, so where were we? You can call on your teachers, your angels, the fairies, whoever seems to, whoever you call on to be your guide, and call on them to come and journey with you. Are you all hearing me okay? Okay, great. Okay. And we will go down into the earth and meet these spirit guides, and the drum will still be with us, and we will journey. And at the end of the tunnel, there'll be a point of light that we will go towards, because the light is calling us to come that way. And then there'll be a chamber, and there'll be, well, you'll see, there'll be things that happen. There'll be a bird that will take us on a flight toward the sun, because the sun is now in retreat. The light is in retreat. And so we go to honor the sun and ask for the sun to transform this part of us that we wish to transform. And then I'll leave you for a few minutes to see what happens for you. And I'd like you to look for images, look for what happens in that moment. And if you have some paper with you and pencil, that would be good if you write down anything that happens, anything that you hear, any music, any images that happen. So let your imagination take over at that time. And And after a few minutes, I will call you back and we will retrace our steps and come back through the tunnel and back down and into the room that we're sitting in, into our regular selves. But we'll be changing dimensions, shall we say. And at one point in the tunnel, there may be some fog or a membrane to go through, and that indicates that you are changing dimensions. You're entering a new dimension. So does anyone have any questions? I will lead you all the way back. So I will be speaking to you most of that time. Does anyone want to ask a question? Have I been confusing enough? Is there something you'd like to understand better before we try this journey? Okay, I don't see any questions. All right, so I hope that you can hear the drum. If you don't, then this is just going to be a meditation, or it will be a meditation. The drum is what makes it a journey. So I hope you can hear it. If not, you'll be able to see it. So think of your space now as a sacred space, because this is sacred work. And in your mind, you might imagine that you have lit a candle, that you have brought perhaps a feather to make your journey lighter and easier. Know that your imagination is your biggest friend here. And know that the horse will take you wherever you need to go. And so as we begin, I ask that you close your eyes. And imagine that we are walking along a forest path with bare feet. And we feel the soft earth underneath our feet. And we hear the birds singing, cheering us on our journey. And we come to a place in the forest where there is an entry into the earth. And you enter the portal and fall down a tube into Middle Earth. And there you get up, shake yourself off, and you call on spirits, guides, helpful beings to come to you. An animal, a plant, a teacher, someone who's crossed over, perhaps an ancestor, to be with you and to help you on this creative journey. And so you travel together with your entourage down the long, dark tunnel. You are not afraid. There's nothing to fear. You are with your friends, your teachers, your protectors. And in the darkness, you see a point of light quite far away. And so you walk towards it. Or perhaps you fly. And as you are reaching it, it's getting bigger and brighter. You meet a fog. It's wet on your face. And you are entering a new realm. chamber of light seems to get bigger and bigger, and you are almost at the entrance now. And it is a very bright room full of crystals that reflect yourself and all those friends around you, welcoming you into the chamber of crystals. It is a reflective place and a friendly place. And you feel, you hear something next to you, a commotion, and you look over and there is a very large bird. Perhaps it is an eagle or a condor. And it is inviting you to hop on its back, to take you to unknown realms. And you have no fear, and so you hop onto its back, and all of your friends hop onto its back too. And it takes off. Flap, 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 and all of a sudden you are very far out into space. And it flies toward the sun. And you get closer and closer to the sun, and it gets pretty warm, but it is not hurting you. It is not too hot. It is just warm enough so that you are lit up and very comfortable in the heat of the sun, and it feels like a warm embrace. It is a beautiful embrace, for all the light of the world is in that embrace, and you are being held by all that light, all that knowledge, all that wisdom. And so now you have a chance to exchange your knowledge, your request with Grandfather Sun. And so you ask Grandfather, how can you help me to transform what is holding me back? And I will give you a few moments to be with Grandfather Sun and allow him to show you how to transform what it is that is holding you back. I will leave you now for about 3 to 5 minutes. us finish our interaction with grandfather son. Let us thank him for his wisdom, his sharing, his love. And let us bid him farewell until the next time. Let us look around for our big eagle so that we may return home again with our new knowledge, our transformed selves. And we climb up onto the back of our eagle along with all of our friends and guides. And we take off from the sun again and flap, 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 flap into outer space and back down towards the earth, into the earth, and into the chamber of crystals, where we get off the eagle and we thank him for his guidance and his transportation. And we thank our guides and our friends. We bid them good day. And we walk back down the long, dark corridor into Mother Earth. And we walk, walk, walk back to where we first began. And we see the opening to the upper world ahead of us. And we climb up, 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 and into the world of daylight. And back into this room where we began. And take a deep breath and return back into the room and open your eyes when you are ready. Take a deep breath and ground yourself once more through your feet. And shake a little bit like a bird might when it lands again from flying up in the air. Shake off that reality and come back into this one. So welcome back, everyone. Now, I hope that you had an interesting journey and that perhaps you took a few notes so that you don't forget what you experienced. And I'd love to hear about your experiences, if anyone would like to share.
Sure, I'd like to.
Go ahead,
I'd like
Nina.
to.
Yeah, love to hear it.
So for me, the transformation creature was a swan,
Oh,
and this goes back to when I was a ballerina at a young age, just entering the profession, as a teenager. I had never felt more myself before or since when dancing as one of the swans in Swan Lake.
mm.
And it's something that I felt I've lost over the years. Through, as you say, Hannah, we get, we get domesticated, or civilization takes over, or people in our lives take over. And so what I asked Grandfather Sun was, I've been working on this actually for the past year, and this date, interestingly, has culminated to help me transform really almost a desperate need for approval and acceptance that sucked Nina out of Nina.
Mm, mm.
And so I've been working on that, and it's come back, and I really feel as if the swan, and actually the puma, but the swan has helped me get back to that place where I didn't need acceptance. I didn't need approval. I was just a swan. And it was the greatest feeling in the world.
Mm.
And I'll just share one interesting thing about this date. I had a dream in early March. I was walking in a forest and I came upon a shaman, and my mother was with him. Now, my mother died 12 years ago, but my mother was sitting with him. And he said, "Child, you look lost." And I said, "Well, I am lost. I don't know where my life is taking me." And he said, "You need to wait 196 days, and then your path will be clear."
Mm.
This dream
Wow.
was in early March. Today is the 196th day,
Whoa.
and I'm freaking out.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So anyway,
awesome.
yeah,
Yes.
it's thank you for this date.
Awesome.
I saw this
Wow.
date coming up. I just said, well, let's see what happens.
Oh, wow. What an awesome journey. And that dream was a transformative dream.
It was. It
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
And with my mother being there, because she was such a cornerstone in my life. So it was right. So thank you.
Congratulations. What a gorgeous journey. Wow. So
Thank you.
anytime you want to, uh, you know, embody that transformed self, all you need to do is become a swan.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Boy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's I have a lot of dreams with swans, with interestingly usually seven, with the seven sisters.
Mm.
But yeah, I have these very, very powerful dreams
Ah,
with swans. So
that is awesome, Nina. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow. What a what an inspiration to all of
oh,
us.
Mhm.
thank you. It's new, and it's refound again after 30 years.
Wow.
Well,
Um,
you're on your way, I would say. I don't I don't think
yeah,
you need anything else. So the way is clear for you.
Hmm.
yeah.
Wouldn't you say that, Lucy? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and
Yeah,
there's your guide,
there's one of them.
the
Yeah,
panther.
yeah, my
oh,
little
Oh,
yeah.
which one
So
is that?
this is Olinka, Olga
Oh,
Olinka.
nice. Well, congratulations. That's
Thanks, Hannah.
awesome. That is
Thank,
awesome. You're
thank
on
you.
your way, and I don't think you'll need anything else right now. You've got everything you need, all the tools that you need.
That's
I was going to say that for many of us, in order to achieve the transformation, it is not usually done without a great deal of effort on our part. I mean, occasionally, a dream like yours, Nina, will do it, but it's your dream, so you actually put the effort into it anyway. But in old times, in order to create a hex or to change a situation, people would sacrifice an animal. And the exchange of blood is a very powerful agent in transformation. That giving up of blood would actually uh, put the transformation into effect. But we're not going to do that. But what we do need to do is
Yeah.
something what?
I'm glad we're not going to have to sacrifice an animal today.
Yes.
Exactly.
We're going to do something that's really much more difficult, and that is to give up something. So, in other words, it's an energy exchange. If you want to change some energy of yours, you have to put something. You have to offer something in exchange. So you might give up something, like maybe you want to give up ice cream for probably a period of about 3 weeks. Or maybe you want to give up self-criticism, or maybe you want to give up um, some some habit that you have, or something that might be important to you, but it's also important to exchange that energy for something that means more to you. Um, so I want you to think about that. If uh, in order to actually create that change, it will probably take a bit of effort on your part. It's not going to come all by itself. We need to be the agents of our own transformation. And this is one tool that can help propel us in that way. And so think about what you would be willing to give up in order to create that change in yourself. Would anyone like to make any comments to the whole group about anything that we have heard or done today? Or ask a question?
I don't think so. Need to take it in and think about it.
Okay. Yeah. So work with your images. Yes, Lucy?
Nina, I wanted to ask you what you meant by the seven sisters.
Well, Pleiad, the star cluster Pleiad they're
Yeah.
known as the Seven Sisters. And that's
Absolutely. So I wondered if you were thinking that. Okay.
Absolutely. That's always been one of my favorite, when I studied astronomy and astrology years ago. That was always one of my favorite clusters. And for some reason, these things come up. The important women in my life, my mother, my sister, my cousins. It's always been the seven sisters to me. I mean, I make the eighth, but it's been a very important theme throughout my life.
For sharing. Yeah.
What a beautiful image and symbol. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, please.
I just wanted to share my experience.
Yes, please.
I had thought about what I wanted to give up and before and didn't really land with anything specific. But this morning I came up with the feeling that I have the sense that I have the sense of being heavy.
Being what?
Heavy, weighted.
Heavy. Oh.
Weighted down. And I have no reason to, I don't have any illnesses or issues, but I don't have the energy. I don't have energy like I used to, or maybe when I had more daily requirements in my life, a lot of more giving out into the world requirements. But for whatever reason, I get up and I don't feel as lively as I would think I should, having some sleep, right? And so I wanted to give up that weightedness, that weighty feeling that seems to permeate over me sometimes. And so that's what I did. I just imagined myself lighter, and I experienced that, and I thought, that's what I need to do. I just need to imagine myself lighter and allow that to rise away from me, I guess. It's not, yeah, and so I was really happy. I want to thank you for this journey. Number one, I got to get in touch with what was tangible that I could do or think about, and then very much aware that I can do that with the help of my guides, with the help of my own mental place in life at that moment. So anyway, I want to share that.
Thank you, Mary. So you say that the journey helped you to be in touch with ways to feel lighter?
It gave me the opportunity to
To feel
experiment,
it.
to
Yeah.
feel, first of all, to realize that was what was bothering me, or that's something that I wanted to get rid of, because
Mhm.
it's so subtle, and you can attribute it to so many things: our health, what we ate, our emotions, listening to the news. I mean, there's all kinds of weighting down stuff. And this gave me a chance to tangibly allow my mind to shift that, and my feelings, and just sort of like the whole combination of the surroundings that you created in the journey.
Well,
So
great. Yeah. Thank
I was
you.
really glad to. It was kind of subtle in that sense, but it was pretty real. I was definitely on a condor's back when I flew.
Great. That's wonderful. Um, you know, a couple of things come to mind. One is, what are the things that make you feel lighter? So anything that gives you true joy is probably going to make you feel lighter. So maybe it's dance, or maybe it's an animal, or a flower, or the sunshine. Whatever it is that makes you feel happy is going to make you feel lighter. And perhaps that it's a lack of enough lightness in your life, whatever the lightness means to you.
Mhm.
I mean, that's something that you need, maybe make a list, of things that make you feel lighter, and it will create a picture for you, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, the other thing that I'm thinking is that when I'm feeling out of sorts, any kind, I find that your physical body is the best tool for getting out of a mood, a thought, a feeling. The reason we have bodies is to experience life in that way, to have many experiences, and if the experience that you're having is not what you want, move your body. Find ways. This
Oh
is
yeah,
what I would do. I would move my body.
very much into moving my body, and I hear you. Um, it was what I experienced was a recreation of my feeling of heaviness. It's very physical heaviness, and I can attribute it maybe in part to attitude, or fears or anticipations or whatever. That's all part of it. But I think the key is that it's symbolized by this heaviness, and that if I just, I don't know, just see myself lighter, just see myself floating in space, or whatever images. I'm not real clear right now, but I did definitely go from feeling heavy to feeling lighter during the
Mhm,
shamanic
mhm.
journey. And it's attitude,
It
huge,
is. It
huge
is.
attitude. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to, yeah, I guess, I think a lot of us who are seniors have done a lot of work in the past, and we're kind of at a funny place, at least I am, of really making a shift. And I feel kind of grounded. Too much grounding is fine, because Gaia is such a wonderful sense of spiritual loveliness to help me. But it's a bit confusing right now as to how to release myself. And because I have no ailments, it's not like I'm going to die soon. And I'm going, wow, well, what am I going to do now for the rest of my life? How am I going to be? And I realize I'm just not totally happy about how I am right now. And so I need to lighten up. There we go, you know.
And usually reaching out to others is the best way to lighten up also, help someone who needs help, volunteer at, at whatever. This brings you out of yourself, and you're no longer feeling so heavy because you're out there and you're giving and you're getting back, and all of a sudden you have purpose. And I think it's something that once you retire, you easily fall into, because all of a sudden you don't have a schedule and you're it. And so it's easy to feel dragged down by that.
Yeah, just listening to what's going on, or trying not to listen to what's going on right
Well,
now.
that's
It's pretty heavy,
that
as,
too.
as
Yeah. Yeah.
we got from the astrology reading. Appreciate that a lot. I've done a lot of astrology myself, and so
Yeah. Oh, good. Have you been aware of the energies lately? And of course, who wouldn't? But we
it's heavy. They're really, it's
Yeah.
not just me. It's like it's happening. It's coming right at us.
yes,
Oh,
it's coming right at us. And I was
Yeah.
we went to a friend's house yesterday, and they're not into astrology, but I was saying, we have every right to feel absolutely weighted down. I mean, it's like the universe is doing that. And I said, the only way I combat that is I've become very lazy. I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. And I mean, I'm really lazy, or when it's time to get up, I don't get up. And the husband, he said, oh, I wish I could do that. And he points to his wife, and he said, every day she wakes up right at 6 o'clock and says, what a glorious day. And I thought, I don't wake up next to her. I mean,
Now I've tried that, and that works really well. I have actually gotten up and thinking, gee, I don't feel really great. Or that dream I had was kind of lingering. And then I just say, it's going to be a joyous day. It's going to be a wonderful day. And that does really work a lot. So I hear all of this. It's just there. I just realized that I'm in this transition into a lighter space, and I'm not there yet. I'm there some of the time.
I hope it means you can find a way to not judge yourself whether you want to do something or not do something. I give yourself the permission to say no, or to say it's going to be a glorious day. Off we go. I'm going to go do something. I'm going to be outside, be with nature.
That's a big one. Getting outside. Because I have things inside I want to be doing and studying, and it confines me. And then I realize I've been still for too long, and I've been focusing on information, if you will. And then, yeah, you have to physically get out and do. And so I'm lucky enough to have places to walk and that sort of thing. It's all part of the combination. But I just find that I'm not really as happy as I used to be. And so I'm looking to lighten up, I guess. And I didn't realize that it needs to be a lot more conscious on my part.
Yes, you need to create an intention for each day. And so when you wake up in the morning, give gratitude. It's
Yeah.
morning. What a gorgeous day. And I'm alive, just to give, or whatever it is that
Yeah. Yeah. I
that
hear.
it puts you in a different state of mind than I'm heavy and I don't know what's coming next. But so put yourself out there, make it an intention every morning to wake up and greet the morning in whatever way works for you. Um, and take it as a challenge, if you will, or
Well, I
and
think it's just paying it, we forget things. And so it's like what I might have done yesterday at work, I'm not thinking about today. And I'm feeling, or I'm just going about my normal business, sort of working through the feeling. That's not, well, if I get up and or if I wake up and I think I have all these feelings that I don't know if I want to get out of bed or not. And then, which is not like me in my lifetime, but then allow myself to say, we push past that fence and just jump over it and say, it is a beautiful day. Isn't it wonderful to be here? It's going to be, I don't know how, but it's going to be a great day. And when I do that, it's very powerful. And it does. And then I get up and all of a sudden I'm feeling great. I'll tell you one thing, small physical thing I started doing, and that is taking some wonderful essential oil and sniffing it right away and talk about, man, that makes a huge difference just right
yeah,
there.
Which one are
So,
you?
yeah,
which
which one?
well, this one happens to be, it's called Thrive Every Day, and it has, all kinds of like oranges in it and some other things. But I have many of these different things and I use them more in my body. But then I thought, just yesterday I was feeling kind of heavy and I just did this and it just is an amazing pop. It's like, smelling a rose or something. It's so enlightening. And so it's an artificial thing sitting here by my bed and how wonderful I have it
Yep.
because it does transform my attitude like in seconds. Now, how long that lasts and what I do with the rest of the day is another story, but just to get beyond that, do I want to get up today? Well, I never gotten up today. So, but forget the unknown and just, like we say, create that feeling that is what we want, what we need.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Also, you can put it on your wrists, the
Yeah.
essential oil, and you can breathe it in for a few minutes and it goes right to your brain and and it will stay around for a little while, long enough for you to get up and say, okay, it's a nice day. I'm going to do something great with it.
My cat, let's be happy and
Yeah. Be happy.
be
Yes.
and
Mary Lynn has some comments. She says, well, she said she got a jolt of a physical jolt during the during the journey, and it gives her a quick energy release. I get these regularly when meditating. Thank you for this time together. Yes, and thank you, Mary Lynn. I'm so glad you were on the journey. And she recommends self-care activities. And would you consider having a pet and flower essences?
well, I have a pet and I always have a pet. I have a great,
Okay.
and that's one of my first go-tos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they are the great teachers.
Yeah.
It's
They
just
are.
soft and lovely and I can love them. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I
Well,
just,
thank you.
what's important to me was just this feeling of it's the heaviness I want to release. I hadn't consciously done that until you took me on this trip. And so that was good. It's
That's
like,
great. So you
yeah,
realize something about yourself that
yeah, that
needs
needed.
tweaking. Yeah. Good.
Mm-mm.
Wonderful. I'm so glad that could help. Well, it's been an hour and a half, so I feel the need to release you all from the circle, even though we've had such a lovely time. And I thank you once again, and I especially thank Lucy for her beautiful reading, so full of information and
Thank you, Lucy.
good things. Thank you, Lucy, so
I love
much.
seeing
And
everybody. Thank
yeah,
you. for
yeah.
having-
And thank you all for being here. You've been wonderful, and come
It's
again. And
exciting.
I just thank the spirits for being with us today and for guiding us and giving us
you.
so much good information and wisdom. Thank you. Thank you all. And be well, and blessings. Till the next time.
Sweetheart.
Thank you.
Okay. Mwah.
Love you all.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Nina. See you again.
Bye, Hannah. Okay. Ciao, ciao. Okay, so how do we get out?
Lucy, will you stay on? No, no, she left. Okay. Oh, Montgomery, hello.